Congratulations. You've been selected for the position at City Morgue. The words still echoed in my ears, cold and dry, just like the employment contract I had signed. It wasn't my dream job, but the silence and solitude promised a peace that the bustle of the outside world couldn't offer. The schedule was simple: 11 p.m., 7 a.m., Wednesday to Sunday. 8 hours of darkness and cold, alone, always alone, with the only colleagues who never spoke. There was an absolute silence, broken only by the constant, low hum of the cooling system. A silence that, as the nights accumulated, began to sound like a whisper. The first week was the hardest, not because of the bodies, you get used to them, but because of the bone-chilling cold and the shadows that danced at the periphery of my vision. Then the sounds began, a barely audible click, metallic, coming from the rows of drawers. I told myself it was just my imagination, that the metal was expanding or contracting, but the click repeated more often, closer and closer. One night I found the metal chair moved, from the wall to the middle of the room. The second night, a medical instrument lay on the floor, though I was sure I had left it on the tray. A cold, wet stain had appeared on the white tiles, a stain that seemed to be slowly spreading, although there was no visible water source. I was starting to feel like I wasn't alone. A strange smell, not of formaldehyde, but of damp earth and something sweet, hung in the cold air. The fluorescent lights flickered more often, casting distorted shadows on the concrete walls. In those intermittent moments of darkness, I swore I saw subtle movements behind the drawers. Once I heard a prolonged hiss, like a cold whistle, coming directly from drawer X37, the one that had moved on the first night. The terror peaked on the third night of the second week. I was standing near drawer X37, checking the temperature. The light flickered and went out for 1 second too long. When it returned, the drawer was open. Not much, just a few centimeters. From the darkness within the drawer, a pale, thin, long-fingered hand began to emerge. It moved millimeter by millimeter, as if testing the air. I felt my heart pounding in my chest, faster than any medical machinery. A scream caught in my throat. The surveillance monitor screen, which had nothing to monitor, suddenly went completely black. Only a small red pixel flickered in the corner, like a forgotten recording light, and then a whisper, barely perceptible, cut through the absolute silence of the morgue. "Welcome home."